What's up guys, Wolf here. Welcome to another Remnant 2 video. In today's video, I'm going to showcase my current best build in the game for Apocalypse difficulty. This setup works great in any situation against multiple enemies or single targets like bosses on the most difficult difficulty. We can melt enemies with high amounts of DPS but survive so long and survive huge amounts of damage and just stand there and pretty much tank anything. This build has got a great combination and balance of damage and survivability. I hope you guys do enjoy it. If you do, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Let's get into it. So I have chosen the Challenger and the Gunslinger archetype. These work incredibly well together to balance out the survivability aspect, which from Challenger, then the damage from Gunslinger. I have tried so many different alternatives and different combinations, but I found this to be the best. And for close quarters combat and for longer ranges, but I like to get in on the action because if you guys notice in this game, the enemies like to press you. You can't kite too much and keep your distance. It is quite tricky. So I've chosen Challenger as my primary one because we can receive fatal damage. We get another chance. We become invulnerable. It works great for close quarter combat, and we also get increased damage to enemies within 10 meters. This synergizes with a whole bunch of other mechanics in this game, in this build, which I will get to later. So the relic perk for Challenger is going to be really powerful. So using a relic, which we're going to be doing all the time, guys, because relics are a key part of this game to surviving and to getting your way through the most difficult content. Using a relic within 10 meters of an enemy grants 2 stacks of Bulwark, and Bulwark is so incredibly strong in this game. And it also gives us 10% increased damage for 10 seconds. Now, if you combine the fact that I'm going to be using the Decayed Heart with Challenger, it's going to work incredibly well. Because the Decayed Heart, this is how it works. On use, causes the next 3 instances of enemy damage taken to trigger health regeneration over 3 seconds, lasts for 30 seconds. I love this heart. The other one you could use is the Crystal Heart, which works just as well. That is found in Narud. Now, I would recommend this one for this setup because I'm pairing it with an amulet that actually requires us to get damaged to give out damage, to extra damage. So if we take damage, it increases all damage dealt by 25% and reduces all incoming damage by 10%. This combination synergizes incredibly well. Now, the Gunslinger is what I've chosen because of the Bullet Storm skill. This is so powerful and it works incredibly well with this, but also because of the Sleight of Hand perk and Swift Shot. So using a relic reloads equipped firearm and increases range damage by 15% for 10 seconds. The reloading is very handy. And also Swift Shot, we get extra fire rate, range damage, crit chance. I really do love Gunslinger. I have tested all the other damage ones. This one for this build works the best and I'm getting the highest numbers. Obviously, it's dependent on what rings you use, what other elements of your build or your playstyle, but this for me is the best combination. And I really do enjoy the weapon mod, and I cannot stress enough how powerful this is, guys. Soulbinder. This is a really powerful mod. The mod requirement is 650, but this is how I am able to damage multiple enemies by shooting one enemy. If you guys remember Negotiator's Dilemma from The Division, this is just like that. So fires a projectile that attaches to the enemy, dealing 130 damage. Enemies within 7 meters become bound to the primary target after impact and share 60% of damage dealt to them. Lasts 15 seconds. So I shoot the tankiest enemy with that, and then when I shoot him, 60% of that damage goes to all the enemies around. This is really handy, especially when there are little mobs that are all over the place and they each are difficult to shoot. So you can focus one target and kill all the enemies around you. It is really strong and works incredibly well. This build is great. So how I would play with this is simple. Get up close, proc my relic, take a bit of damage, and then just smash, because you can really do high amounts of damage with this build. And don't think this is going to be something that you just need to tank and you can only do a little bit of damage. It takes you longer to kill bosses. It doesn't. The damage is substantial. Let's take a look at the build in detail. So the Challenger archetype. There are other ones you can use, guys, but I recommend trying this. The Engineer could be an alternative, but I really do enjoy this skill, the Juggernaut. It helps so much, especially when we are getting up close and personal with enemies. So I choose the Juggernaut, and then we have the prime perk Die Hard, which will save you a lot. It saved me so many times, especially in boss fights. Then the Gunslinger, Bulletstorm. We all know how good this is. It's arguably my favorite damage skill. Make sure you give it a try if you haven't used it before. And also the Ammo Reserves trait is great because, let's be honest, we run out of ammo all the time. The gear, it is up to you. Try and get your armor to, I would say, at least a yellow. Now, green is good, but we want to try and be as tanky as possible. I need to mention to you guys that I always proc a bark extract, which gives me increased armor by 30. Currently, with this build, you can see I've got 325 armor and 130 health. If you want to look at the detailed stats, here they are. My total DR is 60% or 61.9%, which I'm happy with. I can get some more, but like I said, this build is intended to balance damage and survivability, tank DPS build. So the gear is completely up to you. The mods or the relic shards I've put, it's going to be healing effectiveness, range damage, and range crit chance. You can use the crystal heart. That works, could be even better in some situations, but like I said, this is good because it allows you to not really focus too much on this and proc a heart when you get a chance. And then when you take damage, that's when you actually receive the healing. But the crystal heart is really good, but remember, this is 30 seconds. You don't have to worry about healing because as soon as you take damage, you evade or whatever, and it just heals you. So it's really, really nice. Then, like I mentioned before, the combination of that and this right here, taking damage, the Indignant Fetish, which is an interesting name, but taking damage from enemies increases all damage dealt by 25% and reduces all incoming damage by 10%, lasts 20 seconds. Is a long time. This is one of the best amulets in the game, especially for a setup like this. This build is by far the best I've used and made in this game so far. Give it a try. If you're doubting it, I want you guys to try this. The way I've set it up, obviously adapted to suit your own playstyle in some respect, but give it a try. It works so well. Then the rings I've gone for, this is always up to you. I always see you guys recommending other ones. That's completely on you and your playstyle. I needed extra relic capacity because you're not going to be using the healer. So I don't get, if I heal a certain amount of health, I would have received a relic. Now I don't have that to some degree. I've got to kind of focus on this. This ring gives me 2 extra relics, which is quite a lot. And it saves me a lot of the times if I need it, especially on the most difficult fights. I do like Braided Thorns. I wouldn't say it's the best, but for this setup, I wanted to get some more crit chance. Then the Outcast ring, increased reload speed by 5%. The stacks. I just think reloading quickly and efficiently is one of the highest forms of DPS in the game because a lot of enemies have windows where you can shoot them, especially bosses and elites. So I feel like this is really, really handy, but it's up to you. You can change this up if you wish. Then mod damage by 12%. The Shard Banded ring works great. Like I said, guys, I try different things, but this just works with my setup. This works so well with my setup. I don't ever struggle, to be honest, to go through content with this build. Then the weapon. I do like this AR. You guys know it by now. This gun is only plus 19, so it can be better, but it works really, really well. I am enjoying it a lot. And the Soul Binder is a great one. You guys can use the Fire Shot if you want. That does better damage to singular targets. But this for AoE damage is unbelievable. When there are mobs of enemies and waves of enemies all around you, this works so incredibly well. But you can use whatever you want there. It's dependent on your situation. I always change this depending on what kind of dungeon I'm in or what kind of area. Deadly Calm, continuously aiming, increases range damage up to 10% over 3 seconds. You can use whatever you want here. It doesn't really matter, guys. Go for whatever suits your playstyle. Then the secondary, I've got the Smolder melee weapon, very good, applies burning. I've got the Striker, and I've upgraded it to +2. Then my pistol or handgun, I've got the Battery and Witchfire mod, very good. I love this gun. It's like a sniper. Nice if I run out of ammo. I can hit over 1,000 damage per bullet with this thing, which is insane, considering this can also hit just under 350 per shot, considering that I'm so tanky. So you got to keep that in mind. So with these traits, you guys can have a look and copy. I recommend going for Triage. I'm going to say this now, after testing this for quite a long time, I recommend going for at least another 2 or 3 of these. Try max Triage out. Vigor is also very important, and Spirit, very important, especially with the mod that we've got. Expertise is good, handling, recovery, and endurance. This is all dependent on you. Just make sure you guys don't over encumber yourself. That's why I think it's important to have strong back, but that comes with Challenger, which is handy. So I think the damage, I'm really happy with the damage of this build, and I'm happy with the survivability. Give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next video. Peace out.